friends, and welcome to the CUInsight Network. I'm Robbie Young, Vice President of Strategic Growth at CUInsight.com, and on this show, I have conversations with thought leaders who support the credit union community. We'll identify issues affecting credit unions and discuss best practices so that we can all learn and improve. My guest on today's show is our very own Linda Lafortune, Director of Learning and Client Support at CUInsight. Linda, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Robbie.
So most of us didn't grow up thinking we'd work with credit unions. What did you want to be when you grew up?
So when I was very young, I wanted to be a teacher. And I think that mostly was because I was lucky enough to have really great teachers in my elementary schools that I connected with a lot. So I just envisioned being them when I grew up. Then when I was 13, I started working at a horse farm where I was in their working student program, which allowed me to get horseback riding lessons in exchange for working at the farm. And I ended up teaching riding lessons there. So I guess that connected the dots on my younger aspirations of teaching. It just wasn't in a traditional classroom.
Just a couple of horse girls we are.
That's exactly right.
So what was the journey like to your current role as Director of Learning and Client Support at CUInsight?
In college, I was a writing major because at that point in my head, I wanted to be a journalist. I got a job for a newspaper as a journalist my senior year, and then realized I decidedly did not want to be a journalist after writing for a while for a newspaper. So back to the horse farm I went and stepped into a role there to manage the riding program at that farm where I had worked for years before. My first credit union job was the result of another instructor at that same horse farm being the CEO of a small credit union in the town we were in. I mentioned to her one day while we were at the farm, I needed to find a job with health benefits, because I was out of college, needed to get going on that. She needed a teller at her credit union, and so began my credit union journey. From there, over the next 25 years, I worked at 4 different credit unions. I was initially on the member-facing side. I was in roles from teller to branch manager. I later transitioned to back office roles, first on the operational side as an AVP of loan and card servicing, and then later AVP of learning and leadership development at another credit union. And then 5 years ago, I got the opportunity to join the team here at CUInsight, which of course has been amazing. Not only just to be part of such a great team, but also I now get to serve in a role where I support credit unions across the industry, which is just really cool and exciting to me.
That's amazing. It doesn't feel like it's been 5 years.
I'm making it 5. I'm almost there.
Oh, okay.
I'm rounding up by 2 months.
So I typically ask guests where their company creates value for credit unions, but I certainly know the CUInsight story. Your cross-functional experience gives you a different lens. Could you share that with the listeners?
For sure. Yeah. And I guess I do process a lot of what we do here from the eyes and vantage points of folks in all the different roles across the credit union world because of my experience there and knowing firsthand a lot of the challenges for both member-facing and non-member-facing employees. I think we as a team, as an organization, we provide value really by providing and being that centralized place for kind of, as we say, all things credit union, a centralized hub for thought leadership, industry news, learning events, resources to support, both their development and their strategic priorities. I think all of that is so valuable. And I do see that from the lens of sitting in a credit union chair, front, back office, whatever, the value that can bring.
Having worked so long in different roles directly for credit unions, what do you find most rewarding about working alongside credit unions in your role here?
Yeah. In my role here, I work a lot on the learning side, obviously. I'm passionate about that for life in general, and not just work life, but I really thrive on being able to fill gaps and provide meaningful experiences to support not only credit union employees and leaders, but also because I, again, sat in their world for so long, L&D teams with resources that are impactful, whether it's mini-con, mastery courses, webinars, just being able to provide resources that I hope are meaningful and helpful, that really drives me every day.
That's not a surprise for me to hear at all. So, what are you most excited about in terms of opportunities for the continued and growing impact that CUInsight can make in the credit union space to really support the people of the movement?
Yeah, so I honestly don't think I can say one thing. I couldn't narrow it down and say, here's the one thing. We as a team, as an organization, we're always looking ahead. We're listening to those we serve and bringing those new and innovative resources to the industry, kind of as we see, hey, here's something we could do to help. Every day really is exciting for us organizationally. I think certainly for me in my chair here, just knowing that our goal, it's really always to find where we can best provide support and resources and filling those needs for those we serve in the credit union industry.
So, to wrap up the show, we like to have some fun with some rapid fire questions to let our listeners get to know you a little bit better. The questions are rapid, but your answers don't have to be. Are you ready?
I am. Ready. Go.
Who is someone in your life that was a great leader and what makes them great?
Yeah, so this has always been an easy question for me because there's that one, and we all have that one person, I think. I mean, not that we all haven't had hopefully many great leaders, but for me, it was Chad Fry at True Lion Federal Credit Union. He was the first leader, and that was, oh gosh, I guess 6 or 7 years into my credit union career at that point, that challenged me. He really pushed back on me and pushed me to lean into my discomfort, to lean into my opportunities for growing and developing. And he walked alongside me in that journey, in my personal and my leadership development. He was certainly the biggest reasons for my personal growth and development in leadership. But also, honestly, he helped direct and ignite that fire for my path of my future career in leadership and organizational development. So he's the one for me that instantaneously he comes to my mind when I get asked that question.
That's amazing. So, if you're going to splurge on something and want to treat yourself, what's one thing that you might invest a bit in?
Yeah, so I'm extremely frugal. I'm not much of a splurger, but I would say I wouldn't say one thing. I would say I'm not going to invest in a thing. If I were going to splurge, it would be on an experience with people in my life, whether that's my kids or whatever. That experience, those memories, that's where I would splurge, there's not a thing I can think of that would fit that category, but an experience and memories, that's where I would lean into.
I was going to say I can see some exciting soccer games or something.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. One of those maybe 2 soccer fields in the country I haven't seen with my son.
What's a book that you think everyone should read?
Another easy one for me, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. I have a list of probably 50 books I could name, but if I'm narrowing it down to one that I think is most impactful for all of us, just as humans, as individuals, 7 Habits by Covey for sure.
And I can even pronounce the name properly.
Yes,
so I think that's always a bonus.
That's why I picked that one, so you could pronounce the name.
So we like to ask what the best life hack is for creating balance between your work life and your life. I understand that's not everybody's thing. So what's your take on work-life balance?
Yeah, I'm not great at it instinctively. I tend to really dig in. But I would say my best hack it ties into my personal development of always keeping my why into my focus. So work is part of my why, but also my kids are my why too. And so making sure that work does have an off switch, which of course we support here as a team extensively to make sure, we check each other. Because I feel like as a team, we can all have a little bit of challenge with balancing those just by our own nature. So I guess my hack is self-awareness and staying on task with it and catching myself. And my son will also often be like, put your phone down now. It's, you shouldn't be looking at your screen this late. You are right. So using him as a filter too.
That doesn't sound like a very young person thing to say. So he might be what they call an old soul.
He is an anomaly for a 20-year-old for sure.
So we'll link to everything we talked about today in the show notes. My last question for you is, do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share or asks of our listeners?
I guess the only ask would be to just keep communicating with us, CUInsight, all of us on the team, each of us individually, to make sure we're providing the best we can for you, for support. And we just love to dig in and get to know people individually and organizations, credit unions, any way we can support. So I guess that would be my only ask.
Thank you again, Linda, for being on the show. And thanks to all of our listeners today for tuning in to the CUInsight Network. We'll be back again next time.